Sorry, just getting started here. I got camera turned off. But yeah, so what was that you were speaking of?
Just how we can see as we embody this truthful consciousness and witness it become more magnified within us. It is outpictured in the outer experience, being expressed as a more abundant, just a more seamlessly, effortlessly fruitful expression of life, that things just fall into place. To outward appearances, it looks like we operate more effectively or more intelligently, or more opportunities are more accessible to us. To the degree and to the measure that we embody that truthful consciousness, to that same degree it is reflected in the outer picture. But it's made very clear to us that that outer picture looking harmonious really doesn't mean anything to us of its own self, that there really is no difference. The quality of your life really is an inner quality, and it really is independent of the outer picture.
Yes, so important to realize there's no bountifulness and lack, or
right,
big or small. We let go of the pairs of opposites, and that allows for work to come forth as necessary, as it has here, and just being receptive. And as I'd mentioned, I was so grateful for, again, John's brother Lee recognizing that presence of peace has really been, they feel it in their home, and it's so awesome to share that with the receptivity. And that's the spirit. Again, that's not something being read in a book, even though, again, our studies are important, and realizing this consciousness by reading Joel's work and Herb's work, as I do on my channel as well, that the importance is living it. And that's what I'm so grateful John is experiencing here, and really seeing how important that is to live it, as Jesus did with his disciples, as he told them to walk without script and without purse.
Right, even in titles such as Beyond Words and Thoughts, we have to take that very literally and not let it become the words in a book. But the books can provide a good framework through which we can keep our minds stayed on Him, so that we are kept in that perfect peace. But it's not about the books, and it's not about the words. They're just an outpicturing of a framework that helps us to keep our minds stayed on Him, who is that Spirit of the Lord that is upon you now.
Yes. And that's what has been revealed to me through, again, my mentors helping me understand there's that places in the world are not way far from you. They're within you. And as you embrace them, you'll find yourself there. And it has so happened. And that's the beauty, is it blesses all who are receptive to that. As I know Hisham in Morocco expresses that, and others, that would just, allow that, would just become the place where God's light shines through. That we are, again, just the candlestick holding that light and beholding it. But it does, again, that all the religions of the world want to proclaim they're worshiping God, but They have not truly accepted Christ as their inner being. And that soul identity is so important, as Herb points out in this Divine Life seminar. And of course, even through his St. John revelation, that John realized that it wasn't the human mind or the human body that was going to get this. It's more of a divine sense of body, a divine likeness to spirit. I mean, it's plainly said by the Lord, speaking that not by power, not by might, but by my Spirit.
Right. And that's of divine consciousness, not anything in form of its own self. So the pictures and the forms become more harmonious and more abundant and more free and more joyful and more peaceful, to the degree that we realize that the forms have no being of their own self, but they're of divine consciousness. And that's really like a principle of mathematics. It's not a really subjective.
Exactly. That's the idea, that we can have, if we look at it, like, again, I know Joel has given illustrations of this, and Herb as well, that when a youngster is learning mathematics, he thinks, that I need that 7, so there's only the 7 that you write on your paper. He doesn't really think about the fact there's an infinite amount of 7s, or an infinite amount of any number you need in consciousness. And that's how you imbibe the Spirit. You let it be your true identity. You let it be something that just you relax in. That's what meditation truly is about. Take no thought. Because when you're busy taking thought, you're kind of being mesmerized into that you're a human being needing to think. I love what Herb even says on that and I know Paul Gorman also says this, that if you think you can think, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
You're in the suggestion of a mortal being.
Right.
That's a mesmerism. That then we're separate from our source. And that's impossible when we allow the Spirit to take over. And see that in Him we live and move and have our being. An atmosphere divine. We breathe Spirit. And that's what we're doing here. We're just taking a short break to walk in nature and let nature reveal itself. That in our consciousness is not the things. It's not even a place. It's in consciousness. We're just appreciating what's here, of course. But really what's here is that Spirit. And it's reflected back in the butterflies, the beautiful birds, everything, the sky, and again, even the weather being perfect. When, even last night there was a threat of, it became very gusty and thunder and lightning and big heavy rain, and just in consciousness I knew as I looked at my phone it was calling for severe thunderstorms. And just having that peace that I thank you, Father, I don't need to change this picture. I just need to hold to your peace that only you are here. That within minutes that calmed down to just a regular rainfall. And as we left this morning, and stayed that way the rest of the night, outside of just having rain, which is no problem. But I've been fortunate to have mentors teach me that's really about what's in your consciousness. And even Joel speaks of that the weather is one of the easiest things to demonstrate over. When we really, again, we're not trying to change the weather. We're just allowing only God's presence to be there, not a so-called Mother Nature.
Right.
Or any kind of physical power, or a universal vibration. So different to allow the Spirit to be present. And that was Jesus stilling the storm that he said, peace, be still.
That's not resisting any storm.
A little furry creature.
Resisting. Or even any preference, really.
That's right. Yeah, we're not trying to say we want this or we want that. We want just sunshine. No, not at all. The rain is just as beautiful as the sunshine. Mm-hmm. The clouds are just as beautiful as the blue sky.
But it's, do we have rain or do we have blue sky of its own self? Or do we have rain or blue sky of divine consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have caterpillars and forests and trees of their own self? Or is this a forest of divine consciousness?
That's right. It's really allowing that divine harmony to be synchronized throughout the world. And it's truly that's the only thing going on. We just need to allow that in our consciousness, that we don't allow disturbances or by the pictures to define how we feel. Or it's not a nice day because it's thunder and lightning.
Right. Like there's nothing material here. Or there.
Mm-hmm.
Or anywhere. And I wish you could even see it in the most so-called mundane and earthly appearances, like being at Walmart and talking to someone in the checkout line. Like, there's nothing material there.
That's right. Yes.
Only God is there.
Yeah, so beautiful to see that unfold when you witness that divine presence within everyone, as Joel talks about, seeing the little eye, seeing an eye over the top of every so-called person, but seeing that that's an invisible beam of light. It's not a person.
Yeah.
And they have it. And then they light up. They recognize that something's different about you, that you see something different in them. And they respond. So infinitely.
For me, that's what's been so beneficial to see, because that really brings it home for me, seeing it at the airport, at the gas station, there's nothing material there, and seeing that outpicturing of the inner consciousness be expressed even in all these places.
That's right. It truly is the blessing, right? You're giving it out, so you're seeing it come back. That's what we don't get in this world, right? We think commonly that, that person's just not being fair to me, or they're not being nice to me, or they're not acting as I think they should. Whereas it's, what hast thou in thine house? Thy house is consciousness. Are we accepting that there could be a mortal being acting in such a way? No, there's only the Christ here. something to get in a very practical term, a very practical realization. It's not some far off world that you're going to see after you pass on. It's here and now. I think that'll about do it for now. Get on to our day and recognize that awesome abundance, and for you all as well. Just rejoice with us in that you have it. It's right where you stand. But it's the Spirit. It's not your little mind trying to figure it out. Let that Spirit take over.
It stands at the door and knocks.
That's right. Beautifully said. Thank you all. Much love. Talk to you on the next one.